Well, here in Washington, it has been a big week for African movies with the American Film Institute's 15th New African Film Festival. 37 movies from 22 countries, including 8 U.S. premieres. View Africa's Arzouma, Kompaore and Ekia Badu attended opening night of the festival.
Well, this is the 15th annual New African Film Festival. Since 2004, we've been trying to bring to the DC metropolitan area, and hopefully beyond, a little slice of African filmmaking, the culture, society, the issues the broad issues that are in society. And we hope that by having this festival, we give also people, especially the filmmakers, a chance to expose their latest works.
Opening with The Burial of Kojo, the award-winning feature is writer and director Samuel Bazawule's directorial debut. Inspired by his grandmother's story, the movie is a dynamic gaze of magical realism and Afrofuturism set in Ghana.
I mean, as a filmmaker, my stories come from, sitting around by the fireside at night, nocturnal, listening to what my grandmother was telling us. And her stories were always magical. Her stories were always very imaginative. And so making a film like The Burial of Kojo, it's a great opportunity for me to bring her ideas to life,
For some of the Washingtonians who attended the screening, the movie is exactly what they hoped for.
On a global platform, it's important that this film is shown because, a lot of times we are, in the background, or we're the sidekick. We're not the main characters. And he used our customs, our language. He praised us in so many ways through this film.
It's bringing that authentic Ghanaian way of living. So you see it in the movie as, a real Ghanaian. For me, I could relate to it because that is my home. But then also showing it to the world as we live, for me, is good because I feel that is what is missing in our movies.
This year's festival is their largest and biggest edition so far.
This year we have 37 films from 22 countries, and 16 of the films are female directed. So that's a huge move forward. And so we are hoping to continue in this realm. This way, moving forward, with having the most representation of all kinds of people.
The festival showcases African filmmaking and offers the chance to see films from all over the African continent that filmgoers wouldn't be able to see on the big screen.
We have so much richness in terms of our storytelling, in terms of our identity, our culture, our colors. These are things that make us who we are. And for me, this was a great opportunity to show the multiple layers of Africanness, of Ghanaianness, and also be specific about how we feel about each other, outside of what the Western gaze may be or the outside gaze may be.
Well, viewers, Arzouma Kompaore joins me now to talk more about the festival. Arzouma, welcome to Africa 54.
Hi.
Now, it's obvious that African films are now being noticed globally. Who do we give credit for this?
I think it's more because a lot of the productions are getting very, very good quality, production-wise, but also because a lot of the filmmakers are actually taking ownership of the way they want to say or tell stories. The director of The Burial of Kojo who opened the festival was saying something that really touched me. He's very keen into finding or reinventing a way to make movies of cinematographic language that is very close to how we as African we see things. Like the way we speak, the way we think is very different when you do it in language, like in your own language, your mother tongue, or when you do it in English. So I think it's something that is becoming more and more like a trend, and a lot of the filmmakers are using that opportunity to affirm themselves and to make something that is standing out.
In very few seconds. So these are movies that can be watched both in Africa, but also by people who are based here, who produce right here.
Absolutely, and bringing it to the national capital is good. Just one last thing, this movie is actually debuting on Netflix as well, because it's part of the Array program that Eva DuVernay started. So I think it's going to get a big exposure with that.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Well,